I'm Elijah. I'm a digital content producer, so photography, videography, web design. Um, Live and born and raised North London. I would say so, yeah. I think I'm at a stage that I'm content where I'm at right now. Yeah. Ooh. Outside of like films, TV, kind of getting emotional, like really cried is probably when my daughter last summer came to visit me in London for the first time. So it was one of the cliche moments, but she got off the train and she saw me. She was 2 at the time, and she just like ran down the platform, like jumped into my arms, and I kind of like welled up then. I say strengths, probably like the creativity. Um, I just love like coming up with new ideas, photos, videos, and concepts, and kind of realizing those, bringing those to life. One of the weaknesses is probably like timekeeping and time management, because I can just get so invested in a project. Like, oh, I'm just gonna make like a 30-second clip or do some like, teach myself motion graphics or something. I'll spend an hour on it. Next time, it's like 3, 4 hours down the line, I've sunk into it. I say my personality as well, because I'm like quite introverted, but on the creative side in marketing, people expect you to be kind of outspoken kind of person. I'm like, no, I just kind of keep myself to myself and I'm quiet. So people kind of respect, like, take that for rudeness or something like that. I'm like, no, I'm just be quiet. I say spending time with my daughter and watching her grow up. Like when she was first born, like cut the umbilical cord, was there for a couple of days. And when she was like really, really small, like the first 6 months, like I'd come over and see her take over from her mum, and I'd just be up like all night, just like watching her sleep, and just yeah, that was insane. I think being a facilitator for success, so being able to open the doors for people creatively that I didn't have those kinds of opportunities coming in. So say I've got a video shoot or a photo shoot, handing the work over to like one of my friends to edit, and I'm like, yeah, I'll still give you the credit for the edit. So photography's me, but you get the edit. Or another one, like me and my friends, I was working on a video shoot and I said to my manager, I said, to elevate this, we could get like a drone pilot in. I know one. So one of my friends came down, we added some drone shots to the work. And yeah, so being able to help people and open the doors for them, add to their like portfolio as well as my own. Feels good. If I've had a part in that, even better. But seeing like my friends succeed and achieve goals and happiness is great. And it's great when I can share that with them and celebrate their success. I tend to like not really get angry or kind of like temper my emotions. Um, I remember there's been times when I used to work in retail, like you've been there 6, 7 hours and it's just people getting on your nerves. You're like, let's just go into the stock room, like decompress, you just take 10 seconds before you like, I'd never like snap at a customer, but it's like, I might say something sarcastic or like passive aggressive kind of thing. So never like full, but always let me, I don't want to like cuss you out. Um, yeah, like, I believe I'm confident. It doesn't come across that way because of like my introverted nature. So I'm like one of the quietest people in the room, but I'll have something to say when I feel like I can contribute. I'll say something. I'll speak up. Never gonna be like the life of the party unless certain music's playing or like I'm with like a certain bunch of like my friends that dance. Um, so yeah, I think the only thing is like public speaking. Like, I'm not gonna do a presentation. I don't want to sit in front of hundreds of people and start talking, because that's not me at all. That's something I could probably improve on and get like training and coaching and things like that. So yeah, I think that's what I want to like push on next. I think parenting. So trying to be a good dad to my daughter. Coming from like a single parent household, like middle child, older sister, younger brother. My sister's got 2 kids and my daughter is the middle of the 3, so my eldest niece, my daughter, and then my youngest niece. So trying to be a good parent and just do the best I can for her in a way that, you know, my dad wasn't there. So yeah. I try not to hold on to things, especially like recently in the last couple of years, because it just kind of weighs down on you and affects everything around you. It's like if you've ever, especially like working in retail or working in like an office job, if you bring the stresses from like outside of your personal life, let you affect work, it's affecting the people around you in a negative way. So I like try and avoid that. And I was watching Coach's Playbook on Netflix, and Dawn Staley, the WNBA coach, said she had like a 24-hour rule. So whether you win or lose, you celebrate or you kind of overcome in those 24 hours, and then you kind of like pick yourself up and move on and just keep going. I mean, before that, I used to just kind of like compartmentalize everything, just put it in a box and be like, cool, that's to the side. But no, it's trying to overcome it, work through it for like a day, maybe a day or 2, and then, okay, let's keep going. Yeah, I don't know what those are off the top of my head, but yeah, I'm not finished like growing, developing. I'm still learning like every day. So in terms of things that I could learn and change, I don't know yet. But I'm sure when it comes, I'll be like, okay, well, I didn't know that before, or I didn't realize I was like this, so let me change that. I would say a 7.5, leaning towards like a 7. I think I'm definitely more open with, you know, friends and partners about issues and problems that I have. Before it used to be like, yeah, I just keep myself to myself, deal with it by myself, and that's negative. So working on that and just being in a good space with like work and things like that. So a lot of problems before, especially going into like 2020 before COVID, a lot of like financial strain, leaving work and starting freelance like fully. It's not the same amount of money. It's not the same amount of money, and it's not as consistent. Like if you're lucky enough, you have clients that you have like on a retainer, so you have like a steady stream, but it's not the same as the types of checks you'd be making working full time. So yeah, that's been a big boost. Because yeah, things that will drag you down are like financial strains, family strains. But once you get in a good place, like I'm in a good place with my daughter's mum, co-parenting, I'm in a good place financially with work. And yeah, my circle of friends, like we're all doing good. I think I'm at a stage where I look, for the longest time, especially while I was at like university and once I'd like just graduated after my masters, I was at a place where I'm like, okay, this is enough for me. And then obviously I had my daughter and I was like, okay, financially, the amount of money I'm earning, where I'm at right now, I can't give her the life that I want her to have, as well as like have the lifestyle that I want. So I need to change and like move back to London, start earning more, and that kind of like snowballs. So it's like, when will it be enough? Yeah, so the worry of my daughter getting older, and financially that means, you know, spending more, buying her a lot more stuff. And it's like, okay, the place I'm at financially, I'm doing well, but it's like, I need to like account for that. So I need to keep going. I need to keep going. Whereas at a stage when I was younger, it's like, I'm here, I'm at a good place, I could stay here and just be happy. But it's like, no, I need to keep elevating, you need to keep pushing. So the worry is that I'm gonna be unable to do that. But at the same time, it's like, I reckon I could now. I think that comes to like a self-confidence, not so much as a person, but as a professional. A lot of the times you like apply for a job, or you look at a job spec and it's like, I'm not good enough for this, or I'm not at that level yet. But sometimes you just take a punt and be like, they realize your talent and say, you might not be there yet, but in 6 months' time, like trained up, learning business and things like that, you'll be there. I think my friends, going, I mean, I look at it through school, university, and now, like my circle of friends is like expanded and contracted. Like you meet new people along the way, but right now, I've been with the same circle for 5, 6, maybe like 8 years, known those guys. And yeah, we've always been able to help each other out. And yeah, I'm grateful to a lot of those guys for, in creatively, the same way I want to facilitate people for success, they've done that for me as well. So I'm grateful to them. I'd say I am doing my dream job, so being able to create content, tell stories, and share people's experiences through photography and film. I think the pinnacle would be, you know, working for like a big company on a project, but you kind of maybe lose that because you're appealing to the masses. I'm not working with small, relatively unknown quantities that have like operated in like smaller spaces. So getting that kind of one-to-one, like the same way you and me are talking now, to speak to a creator, hear their story and their life journey. So yeah, I'd say I'm doing it now. I think I just want to like carry that on and just elevate to the point where I can film in a studio like this, and hear their stories. I would say so. In work, I think I came in, so the place I work now, we're looking for someone with photography and videography skills. So that's one of the reasons they hired me. So the ability to say, oh, Elijah's gonna go and shoot that, they can like count on me and like value my input. And a lot of the times trust me to just pick up my camera and go with very little of a brief, and I'll just like come up with it by myself. And yeah, my friends, my girlfriend, they all see me as like, I'm the planner and the organizer of the group, of the relationship. So it's like, if something's gonna happen, like Elijah would like sort it out. Yeah, I consider myself a good friend. I think I try and make myself available for like conversations, whatever, when like friends need help. I think I don't see them as much as I could, but that's just a distance thing. Like we're scattered all around London, Midlands, all over the place. But yeah, like whenever someone needs something, give me a call or a text and we'll have like a conversation, talk about things. Trying to think of what I can say without getting cancelled. I think there has to be common interests. So music, film, food is fine because I can introduce you to new like cuisines. You can introduce me. That's always a thing. So a commonality, but also differences aren't terrible. I think it gets to a point where you two are just too different that it just won't work out. Rudeness is a red flag. Like I've worked in retail for a long time, so seeing people be rude to staff. Sometimes you can tell when like sales assistants they're having an off day. So yeah, just be nice to everyone. Like it doesn't hurt. It's free. I think yeah, growing up single parent, especially because I moved to like a boarding school in Hertfordshire. So that was a crazy transition. So moving from like North London, state school, public school on an estate to like a private boarding school in Hertfordshire was a mad transition. I've got people that came from the same background as me, but also some people that didn't, and they were kind of desensitized to all of that. And having to adjust that. And at the time, like mistaking racism for jokes and just kind of almost seeing that as normal. I think with BLM and all the movements after that, and I just look back and think about my time, and there's a lot of things I let slide because people said, "Oh, I'm joking." So I think pointing that out, stamping that out, is important for me. I think when my daughter was born, for the first 6, 7 months, I saw her almost all the time. When I moved back to London during COVID, there was like a stretch of time where me and her mum were arguing and I just wasn't able to see her for obvious reasons. So it was tough kind of missing those moments with her and just kind of adjusting and not knowing where I was at. Especially I wasn't working, no one was really doing anything, so we were just in our houses all day. That was hard. I think when things started opening up and my friends would like try and invite me out, go Box Park, we'll go Westfield, wherever, I was just not willing to do that. And yeah, over time, like I had those kind of conversations like, listen, I just do not feel myself. It was hard to tell people I was going through that. And then yeah, once I could go up and see my daughter again, I felt a lot better. And then I could start enjoying life again, kind of moving forward. So I think in that moment, like a part of me was missing. Like, and my friends will say, like, when they've seen me with her, like, when I'm in dad mode, I'm a totally different person. So yeah, and I think I've been that way since she was born. I'd say I'm happy now. I'm about to turn 30. I mean, the person I was 4 or 5 years ago is very, very different. There was a lot of anger, cockiness, kind of, I felt free and untouchable in my mid-20s. I think a lot of people do, because you feel like you've always got time. So I grew up a lot. I did a lot of growing in the last 2, 3 years, thanks to people in my life, past relationships, friends. When you realize that you should change, and like good friends will call you out on bullshit. So that's what like I pride my friends on. Like we can always be 100% honest with each other and say, listen, that's out of pocket. You shouldn't do that, or why are you doing that, or why don't you do this instead? I think streamlining everything. I think as a freelancer, there's a habit to take on maybe too much because you can't be turning down money. So saying yes to everything, start saying no and rejecting certain projects. That'll be like a massive help. Because then you can spend more time with friends, family, whatever else, rather than all my free time is taken up by work. So yeah. I'd say whenever I'm with my daughter, like I tell my friends, I'll tell work, oh, I got my daughter this weekend, you're not gonna hear from me. So whatever we're doing, like, that's it. Spending time with her, seeing her like explore and learn things, like cooking together, painting together, doing activities. Yes and no. So people always say, oh, like you'll always end up where you're meant to be, and that cliche thing. And I'd say I'm happy now. There's certain things I would have like changed or handled differently in the past, but I'm happy. Yeah, like I said, I'm happy where I'm at now. I think the journey could have just smoothed the journey over a bit. That would have been good. Two ways of looking at it. I'm either doing a million and one things or I'm doing absolutely like nothing. So I've had days where I've done a video shoot for my friend for a project. We've gotten up at 5 a.m. We've gone to the Peak District. He's put the drone in the air. We've like filmed stuff. I've had like the handheld. Gotten back to Derby, edited, and just like worked on that. And that was like a full day. That was great. Like I had a lot of fun there. Days where like my daughter will wake me up like 7 a.m. breakfast. Like we'll go to the park. We'll like do anything she wants to do. Paint, watch Spider-Man and Friends on Netflix, and those days. And then there's the other days as well. I have nothing on. I wake up like 10, 11 a.m. and just it's like I'm by myself at this point, and it's just quiet and peace. Like I don't have emails from clients, I don't have work, I don't have, and just not seeing anyone, not speaking to anyone. I would say 2012. I was just going to university. Musically, that was like a peak. You had Drake, Tiger, Kanye. Like Cruel Summer dropped like November 2012. Take Care was maybe late 2011. But yeah, people started rolling that out and you were hearing it in like clubs in 2012. So that was, music then, like miles, like you had to have been there. It was amazing. Now like you'll hear that music in clubs and it's like, it's a throwback. But yeah, at the time, that was it.